that you guys have noticed over the past week or two that has...
Oh, I do have one other thing to talk about.
Okay, what is
That's
it? We'll just
really
give them
good.
previews, right? Because there's like a whole bunch of stuff to talk about today.
Freedom of speech limitations.
Perfect. Okay.
So there's a group, like a rap group that came together. They're two former military guys.
Oh, yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah. So they put out a song called The Patriot, and it's been taken down everywhere for hate speech and inciting riots. When literally the song right behind them on the Billboard chart is called Murder on My Mind. Right.
You can't make it up, man.
Can't make this stuff up.
It's a simulation. I have come to the conclusion 100% we are in a simulation. There's just no...
Yeah.
There's no way, because it's like, well, how would people respond to if this happened? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just...
Right.
It's just nuts. But anyway.
What if we put two black cats?
So real quick, I'll make mine real quick.
Hey, administrator, what? Patch this game. What game? Oh. I got you. Transracial is also another topic.
That's right.
That I wanted to talk about. Yeah.
So the one thing I'll talk about, guys, so if you haven't already figured it out, we talk a lot about mostly free speech and mostly about people having the capability. Free speech is really important to me. I think that you should be free to speak as long as you are not
being a dick.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can be a dick. It's just don't actually incite violence. So,
right.
And if you can tell, and it's also one of those things like where if your rhetoric, like, so I will say that Donald Trump did. This is how I've said it. Donald Trump did not incite violence literally. Like his words didn't say go and do these things.
Right.
That is a true statement.
Right.
But it can also be true that you can know that if you're talking to crazy people and you keep telling them like they're coming to get you,
right?
They're coming to get you.
I mean, if you put
someone's
on a
gonna
tinfoil
go
hat,
right,
and you're like, everybody's trying to get me, eventually crazy people will be like, oh crap, they're coming to get him.
Right.
We should probably stop
that. Right? Yeah. So it's one of those things like. But I still think that he still has that freedom, right? There's a point where we have to you just have to balance it. So with that being said, all these social media networks, it was something like 70,000 accounts were banned off of Twitter last week.
Yeah.
Mostly due to conservative speech that is being looped in. Even people like Bill Maher are saying that the problem that the left is going to face right now is that they're looping people in like myself with like these crazy racist people that stormed the Capitol, right? And they're saying that I'm a lunatic, and they're putting me into that same group, and they're making me a white supremacist, and they're making me all this stuff. And even Bill Maher is like, listen, bad idea. If you take 71 million Americans and you group them into a white supremacy thing, it's gonna piss off a lot of people. Yeah. And I think that's kind of what's gonna happen.
That kind of goes back to the conversation we had last week of if you do something to make a terrorist out of the next generation.
Right.
If you do something bad, you created that.
Right, exactly.
And there's no way getting around it. Like, you made that.
Right, you made it. Right. And they're going to make a very radical party out of this if they keep the rhetoric going. Anyway, see, I'm going down rabbit trails here. The purpose is that there's been a lot of banning. And with that banning happening, there has been a social media platform that's existed for a while, but it's starting to get kind of noticed. It's called Pocket.app or PocketNet.app. It is somewhere in between a Facebook and Twitter. It's kind of like what Parler was, but what's really interesting is it's hosted on a blockchain. There is no centralized terms of service. So I'll get.
So there's no like moderator.
Example. Correct, but there is a moderator. You and I and everyone are a moderator, and then you can host nodes.
So it's like Reddit.
Yes, to a degree, because Reddit has a site terms of service. This site has no terms of service. So what it is though is there's social currency. Right. So for instance, I'll give the bad example that I saw because I was wanting to see this. So I sat there and just started scouring through and going, trying to find it. I found a post from a guy that if you read it, just read the text, in a way, it was like it wasn't white pride, but it was like you shouldn't be ashamed of being white. But then you look at the picture, and in the picture there's swastikas all over the picture, right? No. Oh, yes. So here's the point, though. That content won't get distributed because I went in and voted it down. I voted it 0, and then that will pull it out. and he will lose currency. There's a currency, a blockchain currency that's there as well. And so, like, for instance, I've been gaining currency because I'm not an asshole. I'm sorry, I'm not a butthole. Right. At least it was a PG-13 one.
Mine was PG-13.
Well, that's it. That's all we get, one.
Mine was PG-13. You just get the one.
We get the 1F. But anyway, so basically, though, what's really cool about this is you can go out there and you can share. It also has a live chat room, which I think is really cool. It's like an internet chat room.
So, like, okay, coming from the Modern Warfare, like original Modern Warfare lobbies, that's cool and terrifying.
Yeah, it is. Exactly.
Because I don't need, like, a 10-year-old kid yelling at me that, like, they're going to come to my house and beat my dad up.
Right.
But at the same time, I could also tell that same 10-year-old kid that I would fight his dad.
Right. Yeah. So, like, and that's the thing is I think there's more to it. And I hope that stuff doesn't happen. We know it's the internet. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
But the thing is how can the platform fix it? How can we fix it? Because it's kind of like we all have a point where we can tolerate someone being a racist too, right? Like you hear this like soft racism.
I have no point of that.
I know. I agree. But what I'm saying is like we all have a point where we can kind of like this, oh my God, he's such an idiot. But then there's a point where everyone has the point, and I think it's a pretty short point where it's like, bro, that was racist.
Yeah,
Right. So like there's just this it's like
I don't have that point.
Like if this were the whole line, like for me it's like I have this much tolerance for like the soft racism. And then after that, I have no tolerance. I think, right? So it's
okay.
Like,
so
it's
like
this
I think
long.
the only thing I would say that like soft racism wise that I even remotely tolerate is like someone would say like Mexicans do better work for cheaper price.
Right. Yes. Right. Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Right.
Other than that,
or I would say even humor.
Yeah.
Right. Like if someone makes like
a lot of humor is really bad.
Right, but it's so comedy especially. Like I have a soft spot for stand-up comedians.
I do.
So I want them to be able to say whatever because sometimes when they say something extremely uncomfortable, and we all laugh.
But I guess you gotta,
you know what I mean?
I guess there you have to look at context, right? Because they're making the joke because it makes them uncomfortable. Like this is a situation that really bothers me, so I have to make a joke about it.
Yes, and so. But what I'm saying, though, is those people will get, like, that snippet cut, put on Twitter, and canceled for nothing. But anyway, so check that out, guys, if you're and girls, if you're interested in that.
What is it called again?
PixelNet app. It's banned on Google Play already because they say that it incites violence because there is no moderation. Does anybody see the irony in that at all? I do, because Google owns YouTube, and YouTube is very much like, oh, well, we're cool with the left and what they say, but we're not cool with the right.
Which is interesting because YouTube is the only place that hasn't pulled down the Patriot yet.
Right. So YouTube does a better job. I think YouTube has the best policy because they actually review it like on a regular case-by-case basis. What they say.
Angel said a stand-up comedian could kill someone on stage and it would probably still be a joke.
And it might be funny depending on context.
Right.
I'm just kidding. Please don't.
Please don't kill somebody on stage. That's not okay.
I don't advocate violence. But yeah, so what I'm getting at though is, so you have that, but what's frustrating me about this whole thing is like we are supposedly inciting violence, and by we I mean anyone who voted for Trump, right? But let's talk about something that this is actually a segue to.
In that case, like even we right now
are
technically inciting violence because we have an opinion
because
that's
we believe
different
in free
than
speech too.
Somebody else's.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, isn't that crazy that like your opinion differs from me, thus you incite violence?
Right.
Not you just have a different opinion.
Right. And we can still be cool.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, you and I can't. I'm just saying.
No, that's what I'm saying is like instead of you have a different opinion, we can still be cool. They're like, that's violence and we must shut you down.
Yeah. Well, not just shut you down. We want to make sure you have no career. We want to make sure that you can never marry.
It makes me worry about Joe Rogan.
He's fine.
I mean, he has enough money. He's probably fine.
Oh, dude, he's swimming in cash.
But like, bruh.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff he does is. I mean, I get it.
There's a reason I watch Joe Rogan.
Yeah. So let me segue though. So what they were saying was that like our words incite violence. But let's talk about something that really incited something. So I don't know if you all heard, but Joe Biden had said that he's going to basically give citizenship to 11 million illegal immigrants. Okay. So just wait. That was announced, and magically, this is no joke, the day that it was announced, a 10,000-person caravan is storming through Central America and Mexico to get to the United States. Now, if you go to the whole world and you go, I'm about to give every illegal immigrant citizenship in our country, that is going to literally incentivize people to illegally immigrate to our country. So it's literally happening. You can go check Twitter. I wish I had my laptop here because I would be producing and showing this. That's the one thing we forgot today.
Bro.
But you can go to Twitter and look at the videos of these guys, and it's insane. It's like the most boggling thing. There's like lines of police officers, militarized police with riot shields, and there's guys up top mounted with guns, and there are crowds, and they're literally pushing and sandwiching people in between, and they're just screaming, and then they push through and they break through. All the cops bring out these 3-foot-long bats, start beating these people to the ground, and then they back up into the crowd, and it's like they keep going. And then this other guy was like, if they do it again, we're going to resort to actual violence. Like, this is the people trying to push through. That is what is happening. Well, simultaneously, you're going to... So, there's a guy on Twitter named, Hotep. His hashtag is stay with it.
Okay.
And he does these things. He goes, message. I love his videos. They're the funniest thing ever.
Right.
He does the whole zoom into his face when he's getting really intense, and then zooms out when he's getting a little bit calm. And he was like, I'm going to say it in terms that I can use as a white man. Several black people will lose jobs because of illegal immigration coming in.
Yep.
And then he's also like, and they're going to take your guns. And I was like, yeah, if someone takes your guns and you allow illegal immigration, which reduces jobs for people who have been in the country legally, what do you think those two things are going to do? That's literally inciting violence.
It's literally inciting violence.
So it's like you can't win on this side. And it blows my mind. And I just, it's one of those things. Like I wake up and I go, got to be a simulation.
Right.